Well, this apartment building is about 100 years old. 24 units, 3 stories, with some tremendous turn-of-the-century details like this railing and this classic dot tile. But what it also has is a single-zone heating system, steam. Now, 100 years ago, when America went from fireplaces to central heating, steam was a pretty good thing. Every morning, they'd fire up the boiler, fill every radiator with steam, do it again in the afternoon. People liked it. Well, this homeowner sent us an email, said that she loves the heat, but she has too much. Let's see if we can help her. Hello.
Hi.
Richard Trethewey, Astor Soul House.
Nice to meet you. I feel like I already know you.
You do.
I'm Kim. Come
Hi,
on
Kim.
in.
How are you? Nice to be
Welcome.
here.
Thanks for coming.
You know, your email intrigued me. You said that this place was the hot place to be in the winter.
It's absolutely. It turns into a sauna.
So what do you do?
Well, I come over to my radiator. It's all very scientific.
Oh, is that right?
And I just shut it off
By the handle.
by the handle.
Does that do anything?
Not really.
I didn't think so. All right, so what do you do besides sweat?
Then I go to step 2, and I come over to the window, and I open it up.
Okay. Well, we call that in the industry the double-hung thermostat. You know, and you drive through the cities and you'll see all the top-floor windows. And it tells me that they have a system similar to what you have, called a one-pipe steam system. Just imagine down in the basement there's a boiler, half filled with water, with a burner underneath it.
Okay.
It fires up and now heats up that water until it turns to steam. Now steam is going to move through the building through pipes that are inside the wall. Now, that steam is not going to enter through this valve and into the radiator unless the air that's already inside the piping and radiator is allowed to vent over here.
Okay.
Steam comes in, comes in, comes in. Finally, steam hits right there. It shuts off. Now the steam is trapped in here, giving off its heat, too much heat, to you, and it'll condense. It'll turn back to its original form, water, and now the water works its way right back to the boiler, and that's why they call it a one-pipe steam system.
Okay. So what does that do?
This little air vent, the dials underneath, well, actually, this does almost nothing. This is an attempt to try and fine-tune how fast the air is allowed to vent through. So it's sort of a way to try to balance some of the radius, but it doesn't do much.
Okay. So what can we do about my problem then?
Well, I tell you, I lived my very first apartment, first house actually, was a one-pipe steam system. And this is what I did. Instead of that air vent, I want to install this, a one-pipe thermostatic steam valve. Now, the way it works is this head senses the temperature that's actually in the room.
Okay.
So now, let's pretend I'm the radiator, and I'm going to push some steam through. Now you can hear it venting.
Yeah.
Well, now, if I set it to 70 degrees and the room was 70, nothing comes through.
comes out.
So, and if you don't vent, you don't overheat the room. So it makes every single radiator its own zone.
Excellent. So you need one for each radiator then?
Just the rooms you want to be comfortable in.
Okay.
All right? It's a pretty simple change. I want to get this air vent out, and I don't want to break it. And I'm going to use, it's hand tight so I don't overdo it. I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. Let's see how I do. Yep, good. So now this comes out, just be very deliberate. You don't want to snap it off. It makes for a much longer job. And they do. If they don't get changed regularly enough, they can snap right off. Okay, there we go. Phew. Okay. Now, before I put the new pieces in, I want to put a little Teflon tape on the threads.
Okay. And what does the tape do?
Well, it just makes a tight seal. I don't want any of that steam to leak out. So, now I could use some pipe joint compound, but you know, I don't want to get my fingers dirty. Only kidding. Now this does a nice job. All right, just one pass on each. Now I also do not want to put this onto this now, because it wouldn't have enough room to swing.
Okay.
So now we're going to go back in and be careful to not cross the threads. So just, there we go. I don't really need it to be too tight, but I will take an adjustable wrench and just snug it in until this part sticks straight up.
Okay.
Okay, and now the air vent. Again, I want to be careful not to cross it. Get it finger tight, and then a little bit of a snug, like so.
Great. So where do you get one of those?
Well, this is a bit of a specialty valve, so you're going to get it through a heating contractor or a wholesaler.
Okay. And about how much do they cost?
Well, it's a 3-piece unit. Thermostatic head, the valve body, and the air vent. You probably get about $100 between the three of them.
Not bad.
Okay, how many more radiators we got?
2.
Okay, so we got to get those done. Once you reach over and be sure that that handle is all the way open, we want to be able to let this thermostatic valve do its job.
Great.
And I think you're going to notice a huge difference this winter.
Great, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, stay cool.
Nice fix.
Thank you.
Question for you though. Why didn't closing this valve stop the steam from coming to the radiator?
Well, I'll tell you from experience, I know that the gasket down in here, actually the washer, is going to be worn. It's had steam up against it. It's either going to be leather or rubber. There's no way that's going to hold. 1 in 10 of those old ones are going to be tight.
So it's failed over time.
That's right.
If that's not going to work, how do we stop the steam from coming to the radiator?
Well, there's a little trick, actually. This is the way the air vent normally sits. And air comes up here until steam reaches it. One trick, if you don't want no heat, you can turn this valve, this vent, down. If it's down, the piston drops, no venting. But you will have no heat until you remember to come back and go that way.
All right.
So isn't it a safety issue if you're going to take this off? Don't you have to worry about steam blowing out at you?
Absolutely. This was done in the summer. I didn't have to worry at all. But if it was during the winter, I would have gone down and turned the boiler off on the emergency switch, let it cool, make sure there's no live steam coming out.
Right.
After these thermostats are installed, they must have saved some serious money.
You know, I think about that building, Roger. There were 20 apartments, 2 or 3 radiators in each one, and every window was open during the winter. I think it's much better to heat the inside of the building than the outside.
All right, guys. Well, nice stories. And make sure you keep your letters and your emails coming because we would love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Tom Silva.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Rich Trethewey.
For Ask This Old House. Yeah, it works better to heat the inside of the
That's right. That's right.